Get ready for a crazy thriller ride. Our sweaty hero wakes up totally confused. His concerned family watches him closely. They are moving into a new home. Movers are already hauling heavy boxes inside. He stands outside looking incredibly drained. This massive new house looks pretty creepy. His older brother seems genuinely excited though. This older brother is literally Mr. Perfect. He plays the cello like a professional. He effortlessly fixes broken things around. He even gives brilliant lectures to crowds. The little brother is his biggest fan. Everyone absolutely adores this flawless golden bow. Our hero lives in his big shadow. The moving crew brings more furniture inside. Mom busily organizes the messy new kitchen. Big bro hangs an old 1997 calendar. Little bro carries heavy boxes down. They must share a cramped room. Unpacking old dusty books is super tedious. He uncovers some nostalgic childhood items. The movers keep walking back and forth. He casually flips through a familiar book. Arranging these books helps pass the time. A mover asks him a strange question. He wonders if they are real brothers. Big bro quickly interrupts the awkward chat. Finally done unpacking, they collapse completely. Night falls on this gloomy new mansion. The family gathers for their first dinner. Little brother still feels pretty uneasy here. Something about this place just feels wrong. He eats quietly while everyone else chats. Suddenly he stares anxiously at the ceiling. Dad quickly makes up a lame excuse. He loudly claims it was just thunder, but nobody really believes that obvious lie. A clock ticks loudly in the dark. Big bro casually reads a thick book. He smiles at his anxious younger brother. He finally takes his glasses off. Little bro grabs his old trusty Walkman. He uses music to drown out silence. He closes his eyes, trying to rest. Both brothers are finally lying down quietly. But deep sleep simply will not come. He stares down the pitch-black hallway outside. He creeps toward a mysterious closed door. His burning curiosity completely overrides his fear. He stares intensely at the forbidden room. He slowly reaches for the cold knob. Big bro startles him right from behind. He firmly warns him to stay away. He carefully pulls him away from there. They look out over the rainy city. A midnight walk clears his racing head. Big bro smiles, unbothered by the rain. Suddenly, an unexpected phone call arrives. He tells his little brother to wait. He smiles and agrees to meet someone. He walks away down a dark path, disappearing slowly into the heavy midnight downpour. Little bro waits patiently under his umbrella. Big bro meets some sketchy-looking thugs nearby. They suddenly attack him without any warning. They violently force him into a van. Little bro witnesses the whole horrifying scene. He drops his umbrella in pure shock. He desperately sprints after the speeding van. He quickly memorizes the fake license plate. He stumbles back home, completely traumatized. His parents find him on the floor. He wakes up sweating in his bed, breathing heavily, haunted by the brutal kidnapping. His parents rush to desperately comfort him. They try to calm his racing mind. Detectives arrive to investigate the weird crime. They take notes on his frantic story. He looks absolutely exhausted and mentally broken. Dad clearly doubts the weird van story. Cops say that plate number is fake. He strongly insists he saw it clearly. Nobody believes him, slowly driving him crazy. They set up a police tape recorder. The agonizing wait for a call begins. He stares blankly, losing grip on reality. He prepares to take some sleeping pills. The strong medication knocks him out cold. Brutal nightmares of the violent attack persist. He jolts awake in the dark room. He hides fearfully under his thin blanket. He nervously peeks out into the shadows. He looks toward the creepy hallway again. The mysterious forbidden store calls to him. He cannot resist the urge to look. He stares at it with wide eyes. The dark hallway feels endlessly long. He creeps slowly closer to the room. The door is barely opening right now. Our guy literally sweats out nightmares. These bad dreams seriously mess him. He definitely needs better sleep habits. His missing brother magically returns home. The family celebrates his safe comeback. They share a super emotional hug, but the doctor delivers weird news. Big bro forgot the whole kidnapping. They go back to sharing bedrooms. He awkwardly watches his brother sleep. Something about his return feels off. He tries to ignore his suspicions, but detective instincts keep him awake. Suddenly Big bro sneaks right out. Our guy fakes sleeping to spy. The suspect silently leaves the room. He grabs pills from the cabinet. Next morning everything seems completely normal. He casually drinks water like nothing. But our guy hunts for clues. They sit down for awkward noodles. He tries to interrogate his brother. He asks about the midnight stroll. The brother completely denies sneaking out. He claims he slept all night. These obvious lies are getting annoying. This imposter is a terrible liar. Our detective remains completely unconvinced here. The suspicious brother suddenly leaves again. He watches him leave with suspicion. Later he tries focusing on homework. His parents quietly eat dinner alone. Big bro finally returns from outside. He creeps up on our student. The suspect carefully gets ready for bed. Our guy is completely passed out. He dreams about solving this case. Pure exhaustion has taken over him. The fake brother marks a textbook. He aggressively clicks a sharp pencil. He brings it dangerously close now. This dude gives off psycho vibes. He literally glares at his brother. Later the suspect secretly sneaks outside. He struts down the dark street. Our guy trails right behind stealthily. He keeps a very safe distance. The target jumps into a taxi. Our spy frantically flags another ride. He commands his driver to follow. The suspect looks totally calm inside. They arrive at a sketchy alleyway. Big Bro calmly walks into darkness. This place screams illegal mafia business. Our brave detective carefully follows him. He sneaks through a creepy market. The tension is getting ridiculously high. He spots him talking to thugs. These goons look ready for violence. The boss thug gets extremely suspicious. Our guy desperately hides behind walls. He realizes he totally blew cover. Absolute panic mode officially activates now. He slowly tries to back away. He carefully retraces his dark steps. He tries hard to stay quiet. But the angry thugs surround him. They brutally grab him from sides. He violently breaks free and sprints. He runs through the alleys crazy. These angry goons relentlessly chase him. He desperately hides behind a shutter. He throws a cart to block. The confused thugs completely lose track. He holds his breath in shadows. His heart is absolutely pounding fast. Someone covers his mouth from behind. It shockingly turns out his brother. The terrifying scene cuts to reality. Our guy abruptly wakes up sweating. Was that insane chase a nightmare? He gets up feeling mind blown. He stares down in terrifying shock. He nervously approaches the bathroom door. The imposter is casually standing inside. He furiously confronts him about nightmares. He demands to know the truth. The fake brother calmly listens inside. Our guy is officially losing it. He aggressively yells out the door. He desperately wants the imposter revealed. The intense confrontation reaches breaking point. He slowly picks up a pipe. He cautiously peeks inside the bathroom. Suddenly the brother brutally attacks him. They get into a massive struggle. Our guy gets pinned completely down. The creepy imposter violently holds him. He desperately fights his fake brother. Then the scene randomly resets again. So our guy wakes up completely pinned. His fake brother is holding strange pills. He has no choice but to swallow. Then the creepy brother just walks away, leaving him feeling incredibly trapped and hopeless. He immediately spies through the window blinds and stares at a dropped mechanical pencil. Meanwhile, his brother walks down the street. He finds a sharp needle hidden inside. While his brother hurries away on call, he realizes his whole family is fake. Later, the fake mother enters the house. She sits down to talk with him. He tries to confront her about everything, but she completely dismisses his wild claims. He turns away in pure anger. The woman stares back in fake shock. Now alone, he plans his next move, grabbing a wooden bat for some protection. He bravely walks down the dark hallway and slowly turns a mysterious doorknob. The heavy door opens into total darkness. He carefully sneaks inside with his weapon, spotting a figure entirely covered in plastic. He gasps loudly in absolute terror. Suddenly, he wakes up pouring some water. Standing nervously in the dark kitchen, he looks around with intense paranoia. He sneaks up to a closed door. Spying quietly through a tiny crack, the fake mother is on the phone. He listens closely to her shady conversation. She suddenly stops and turns around. Coming out to check the empty hallway, he presses himself tightly against the wall. She resumes her very suspicious phone call. He climbs out into the freezing rain, desperately clinging to the wet window ledge. The woman walks up the wooden stairs, heading straight toward his dark bedroom. He hides outside in the pouring rain, watching her through the foggy wet glass. She continues talking on the phone inside, and finally hangs up the receiver. She slowly approaches his bedroom door, stepping quietly into his dark room. She pulls the blanket over his body, while he pretends to be fast asleep. Suddenly, he wakes up drenched in sweat. He hides under the warm blanket again, peeking out nervously from under the covers. The window curtains blow in the wind. The woman just stares down at him. She finally turns and leaves the room, leaving him trembling in absolute fear. She calmly lights a cigarette downstairs. He carefully escapes into the back alley, running out quickly in his bare feet. He sprints frantically down the dark street, then stops abruptly in his tracks. An older man blocks his path completely. The fake mother watches from the gate. The old man speaks to him calmly, but his expression looks incredibly sinister. He quickly turns around and bolts away, running desperately for his own life. He spots a brightly lit police station, but two thugs are chasing right behind. He tries to outrun the angry thugs, collapsing heavily onto the wet police car. He sits inside wrapped in a blanket. The officer begins to question him closely. He desperately tells them his crazy story. Another officer joins the intense interrogation. They look at him with deep suspicion. He still looks extremely confused and scared. The officer shows him a strange document. He stares at the paper in shock. The officer points out some shocking facts. The wall calendar clearly says, it's 2017. Realizing 20 years have somehow passed, he is left in complete disbelief. He slowly stands up from his seat, sneaking a quick glance at the television. The news perfectly confirms the current year. He slowly turns around in a daze, approaching a large mirror on the wall. He stares closely at his own reflection, touching his aged and wrinkled face. He finally accepts this horrifying new reality. He walks back to his old house, peeking carefully around the dark corner. He steps into the silent living room. Looking up the creepy wooden staircase, he cautiously walks up the wooden steps, reaching a very dark room upstairs. He slowly turns the metal doorknob, pushing the heavy door wide open. A bloody corpse lies on the floor, freezing him in absolute terror and shock. So our vigilantes capture their elusive target. But this guy plays completely dumb. The investigator glares at him furiously, refusing to buy his innocent act. Because a dark secret haunts them. Decades ago a family was slaughtered, leaving behind a very bloody scene and headlines about an unsolved massacre. Time passed and everyone moved on. But this detective never stopped hunting, tracking the prime suspect down relentlessly, until finally cornering him tonight. They ripped the plastic bag off him, demanding answers for the brutal murders. Yet the captive strongly denies everything. This stubborn resistance engages the crew. They won't accept his pathetic lies. So they use extreme interrogation tactics, waterboarding him to break his spirit. But physical torture yields absolutely nothing. So they bring in a memory expert, hoping hypnosis will unlock the truth. They carefully observe the strange process. The suspect falls into a deep trance, but his traumatized mind fights back. The expert suggests using heavy drugs, preparing powerful pills to break him. The boss lady approves this risky method. They plot an elaborate psychological trap to forcibly rewrite his shattered memories. The expert whispers subtle hypnotic triggers, pushing him deeper into his past. The painful memories slowly surface again, making him grimace in pure agony. They guide his mind backwards carefully to a peaceful family road trip long ago, before the tragic nightmare ruined everything. He dreams of sleeping in the car, resting safely on his mother's shoulder, while the fake father drives on. The expert acts out the memory perfectly, then snaps the suspect awake suddenly, trapping him in a fake reality. The detective watches the sick play, as the suspect smiles, totally confused, unaware they recreated the murder house, setting up fake bloody crime scenes, placing mannequins as dead bodies nearby, to trigger his repressed killer instincts. Meanwhile the detective waits for updates, standing outside, in the heavy rain, hoping their crazy plan actually works. Inside, the suspect panics and fights back, shocking the fake parents with his violence. The police eventually ruin their setup, forcing everyone to scramble away quickly. The terrified suspect hides in shadows, while the furious team regroups immediately. They finally confront him in their van, but he still desperately claims innocence. Realizing they will never let him go, he violently throws himself out the door, tumbling directly into fast-moving traffic. He runs wildly across the busy street, sprinting desperately to save his life. The van aggressively chases him down. They yell at him to stop running. He dives into a narrow dark alley, looking back in sheer utter terror. The van speeds recklessly right behind him. The driver stomps on the gas pedal, resulting in a massive brutal crash. The suspect collapses onto the street, panting heavily after the deadly chase. He stares at the smoking wrecked van, seeing his tormentor severely injured inside. He turns away feeling finally safe, before a random truck suddenly strikes him, leaving him broken on the cold asphalt. His life slowly draining away now, as medics rush to save him. He stares blankly at the hospital lights, his vision fading into pure white, drifting back to a peaceful memory. Standing quietly by a serene lake, his happy family arrives to greet him, driving together along a beautiful coast. His mother smiles warmly at him. A perfect day before the tragedy hit. A sudden crash violently shatters everything. Years later a national crisis hits hard. Desperate workers watch the bleak news. The economy completely collapses around them. He grabs a shady loan shark flyer, searching newspaper ads for any risky jobs, typing frantically on a very old computer, begging online to save his dying brother. He waits anxiously in the bleak hospital. The doctor delivers absolutely crushing bad news, leaving him utterly hopeless and alone. This guy's brother is dying, but saving him costs a fortune. The doctor offers him zero real solutions. Desperate, he even considers shady organ dealers. But the black market rejects his plea, so he turns to the dark web, staring intensely at an old computer screen, typing frantically in the sketchy chat room. A stranger suddenly asks if he needs money. Desperation makes him agree to anything. The stranger offers cash in exchange for murder. He gets a strict deadline to decide. Morals fight a losing battle in his head. His brother's life outweighs his guilty conscience. He confirms the deadly deal online, and quickly dials the provided number. Arriving at a dark, wealthy house tonight, he sneaks inside wearing a black coat, searching the shadowy shelves for his target. He enters the dimly lit living room, peeking through a slightly open door. What he sees makes him completely freeze. He stands paralyzed outside the bedroom, slowly stepping back into the dark hallway, looking over his shoulder in pure panic. Sweat forms on his anxious face. This hit is way too much for him. He raises a knife to defend himself, running blindly down the creepy corridor, hiding nervously behind a wooden door. But his victim is already on the floor. He crawls toward her injured body cautiously. She tries to pull herself away from him, stumbling weakly near a dark piano. He slowly approaches her trembling figure. His face contorts with total terror. The terrified woman screams at the top of her lungs. He desperately tries to silence her nose. A bloody knife lies uselessly nearby. She eventually collapses back onto the floor. He stares at the horrific scene he created, bursting into tears of deep regret. He slowly walks down the wooden stairs, looking back up into the bloody darkness. A young boy suddenly appears from nowhere. The innocent child stares at the intruder, The killer awkwardly tries to explain himself, speaking softly so the boy won't scream. He convinces the kid to play hide and seek. The boy obediently hides under his blanket. The killer glances around the quiet room, calling his client to report the messy job. Staring guiltily, a happy family photo. Meanwhile, the boy counts patiently under the covers. The mastermind waits anxiously on a rooftop. He answers the crucial phone call. The crying boy finds his dead mother. The hitman meets the mastermind outside. They realize a massive mistake was made. The mastermind doctor is absolutely furious, grabbing the hitman violently by his collar, screaming that he ruined everything tonight, strangling him fiercely against the railing, pushing him over the deadly edge. The hitman desperately tries to hold on. Later, he hides in his dark, lonely room. Paranoia and guilt completely take over his mind, and for drip steadily falls in a war. He somehow survived and wakes up in a hospital. A mysterious man watches over his bed. The stranger approaches him very slowly. The patient is barely conscious enough to care. Struggling weakly to remove his oxygen mask, the stranger examines the running for bag and calmly prepares a lethal syringe injection, preparing to finish the botched job completely. The patient watches in pure, helpless terror. The killer is now the helpless victim. The stranger explains his cold vengeance, revealing the dark truth about the hit, leaning in to whisper his final cruel words, telling him exactly why he has to die. There is absolutely no escaping this fate. Staring deeply into his victim's dying eyes, waiting patiently for the poison to work, showing absolutely zero remorse tonight, the hitman cries and begs for his life. Thrashing wildly against the hospital bed, the Avenger watches the painful and coldly, crying uncontrollably as his body shuts down, fading slowly into complete and utter darkness. The Avenger finally feels satisfied, breathing a sigh of dark, cruel relief, laughing darkly at the dead man before him. The patient goes completely still forever, checking one last time to ensure he is dead. The revenge is finally and fully completed, leaving the quiet hospital room undetected, walking calmly down the sterile hallway, leaving behind just another corpse in a bed, slipping away unnoticed by anyone else. Thinking he's making a smooth, unnoticed exit, but our battered patient has other plans. While the nurse strolls by completely clueless, vengeance is a dish best served cold, resulting in a very permanent pavement gnat. Our survivor can finally breathe easily again. Yep, a totally fatal case of gravity, dropping that deadly syringe like a boss. As the ward fades into utter darkness, this grim nightmare is finally put away. Let's rewind to a much happier time, when life was just about innocent moments, chilling by the lake without a worry. Just a guy smiling at the future, before everything became a literal bloody mess.